Welcome to Beta Blitz, a series of videos outlining my first impressions of assorted games which I have the pleasure of beta testing. This time around we'll be looking at Guild Wars 2. Having played Guild Wars 1, I wasn't a huge fan of the franchise. This title, however, changed my opinion. The first thing you notice about this game is its graphics, which are spectacular. Be it on land, underwater, they're just great to look at. You have rich and lush environments, great lighting effects, light shaft work. I mean, every single background, everything around you looks spectacular. And to keep in mind that this is a free-to-play game, and mind you, there's a one-time fee to purchase it, but the monthly fees are non-existent, just like Guild Wars 1, is a big step forward. This is a freemium game, a free game of AAA quality. Not like other MMOs which go free to play once the game has really taken a turn down the wrong path or it's lost a certain amount of its players. And despite this free to play stigma, there's no lack of attention to detail in this game. So if you do like this game and you wish to support the developer, you do so via microtransactions in their store rather than being tied into a monthly fee. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the gameplay, I wanted to look at something that's always a selling point to me in MMOs and most games in general, and that's a day and night cycle. And I don't mean that bullshit day and night cycle where at night you can still see everything because it's through a blue filter. I mean, it's really dark and it affects the way you play the game. Here you see me running through Lion's Arch, which is essentially a pirate town. It's made out of a couple little islands that are put together with bridges and broken down ships which are jerry-rigged into homes. I mean, every town in this game has its own personality, has its own feel. Like, this is a pirate cove. Let's talk combat. Combat is done really well here. As you kill your initial monsters, you unlock 5 base skill, which are weapon specific. There are also loadouts, or bundles as they call them, that provide you with certain weapons without actually having to equip them. FYI, bundles are the only way to switch weapons in combat. The bundles replace your 5 weapon skills, as well as one of the supplementary skill slots in order to be able to use the skill. Here I'm using a flamethrower. I would classify this as a utility weapon. It has the ability to set the ground on fire. It has a push, much like a pyro in TF2. It also has a pull ability to pull your enemies to you. It can launch a long-distance flame attack and do the regular set everything on fire that a flamethrower does. And what if you get an amazing weapon that far outdamages the use for this flamethrower? Is it a wasted skill? Hardly. Getting the flamethrower also unlocks incendiary ammo, which is usable with every other weapon that you can use. So, let's say I re-equip my pistols. When I fire them, they now apply a fire dot, a burn. This speaks volumes of the flamethrower's PvP utility standalone and as a way of supplementing your arsenal. Speaking of utility, the engineer profession provides a lot of it. Be it landmines, bombs, or a battering ram that comes out of your belt and knocks back enemies who are within melee range. As I demonstrate here, even though it looks like I just humped that thing to death. Anywho, let's take a quick glance at the weapon skills. As you can see, each weapon has a different bundle of skills which they bring to the table. Your hero tab keeps track of all the weapons you're able to equip and the skills that correspond to them. For instance, the pistol gives me explosive shot, poison dart volley, static shot, blowtorch, and glue shot, which is a snare. Upon equipping the rifle, on the other hand, you get a whole different set of skills. Let's test them out. Or not. Stupid hawk. As you can see, this is beta, as I am being taunted by a magical phasing critter hawk thing. But back on topic. The rifle provides me with 5 new skills, which are different than that of the pistols, despite it also being a firearm. What you do get, however, is a regular shot, a really helpful snare, a ridiculous knockback that knocks you on your ass while it propels your enemy backwards, a shot that does more damage the closer your enemy is to you, and my favorite, a shot in which you point your rifle to the ground and then propel yourself into the air to slam down onto your enemies, much like a soldier in TF2. Now let's take a glance at some of the actual skills. As an engineer, you're equipped with a lot of skills. Anything from mines to actual bombs, and my favorites, the turrets. Being that Guild Wars 2 does not have a specific job for each class, this is also where your healing skills are. But if you choose them, depends on your playstyle. Now I will equip the 3 turrets I have unlocked so far. starting with the rifle turret, which is essentially a machine gun, a thumper turret, and a flamethrower turret. And apparently I have enough skills to buy a new one. And as if anyone had to guess, a turret that launches rockets. That's my choice. Now, 4 slots might not seem like a lot, but keep in mind the weapons themselves are standalone. So let's unequip one of these and get some mines. Then you equip your bundle and you toss them with wild abandon as if they weren't explosives at all. Now, as we switch back, you'll notice that the mines stay there, and they will continue to stay there until they are detonated. Now, this type of setup in combat opens up some really interesting combinations within your own arsenal. Some of them don't even have to be aggressive. For instance, you can use your thumper turret to build a distance between enemies and your allies. Or you can drop medkits, even though you're not a healer, though they really won't do much. Or better yet, use your flamethrower to set the ground on fire, and then any projectiles that pass through such fire will then catch on fire and apply extra damage upon hitting their target. So let's continue with this demonstration. Let's unequip our amazing potion of always healing forever and replace it with a medkit. Now, the mines are still up, as you notice, as are my turrets. Now I can drop all these medkits down here, and some potions, and an antivirus thing. Now that the ground looks like we've mugged both a sapper and a medic, I think we're good to go. Time to take some damage. Let's approach some of these nearby lizard men things, and hope that they do enough damage for me to try to make my point. Now we wait patiently while they chip away at my health, and while we're waiting, we're keeping an eye on this hawk. And we get our sweet revenge! Anyway, back on topic. Now we took some damage, we run over to the health kits, we heal for a meager 69 damage, because obviously we're not spec'd into that, and we are left to clean up a mess. Remember kids, always clean up your turrets after committing lizard genocide. Another thing I want to discuss is the questing in this game. It's very loosely put together and puts a lot of emphasis on exploration. And due to that fact, you'll be finding yourself looking at your map a lot. Your map keeps track of just about everything you need to know in the game, including your tasks, which are your quests, which are indicated by funny little hearts for some reason. I will look into tasks in detail in a little bit, but first let's look at the other indicators on your map, be it points of interest, which are self-explanatory, skill points, which are challenges that reward you with skill points to actually purchase skills with. And yes, I'm aware how silly skill points yielding skill points sounds. I didn't make it up, though. There are actually 2 remaining indicators, one of which is not in this video because it was added after I recorded it, but I will add a link in the description reviewing it. So the remaining one would be waypoints, which is your way of travel. It's essentially quick travel for a nominal fee, and it works extremely well because it works anywhere in the world you've ever been. Now, let's see if we can find a task. As you notice, as we get closer to an area, it pops up on our HUD with a little bar, which is currently empty, and it tells us what we need to do in order to complete this task. Some choices are more aggressive, some are more passive. In this case, would you like to blow up some stumps with explosives? Hell yes! I hate stumps. They've been my rivals since high school. Nothing would bring me more pleasure. Another task I undertook earlier had me choose between washing cows, killing cow thieves, or sitting down and talking to them to make sure they're mentally stable. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that is my type of questing. Okay, our bar is slowly filling up. Oh look, gonna chop down a tree, because this is exactly why my char went to engineering school. And we're almost there. Ding! Level up. Fantastic. Since this is the beta test, would you like to fill out a sweet survey about your experiences? Of course I would. I love surveys. Was this quest fun? Yes. Was it difficult? No. Not in any definition of the word I'm familiar with. Comments? Of course, and since we're recording, let's make sure to get a spelling mistake in there for good measure. Perfect. Alright, finish filling this up. Double check your work. That's right, can't see the first letter, so you can't catch your spelling mistake. That's fine. And we'll be on our way. Since we leveled, we gained a trait point, and these are very important. They're essentially your build. These choose where you're weak and where you're strong as a character. So we will buff our turrets, because they're amazing. The final thing I want to outline in this video is the dynamic world events. They are essentially events that happen in a world, and you stumble upon them, and you have the chance to take part in them, either alone or in a group, or whatever the case may be. Now, we have one happening as I get jumped by a weird scorpion thing. I do love the combat in this game, though. As far as Engineer class, which is the only one I really tried, it's really fun. This is definitely the class I'm going to play in live. Oh yeah, you better run, punk. Yeah, okay, fine, you jump me, and now you run off, and what are we going to get from this? You're still going to die. I wasn't aware scorpions had such a good escape mechanism. What the hell? Nope, you're not getting. I'm going to kill you so good. You know, you're not even worth my time. I'm leaving. That's beta, folks. First the hawks, now the scorpions, and that's how it goes. No! You go away! Now, back to the task at hand. The trebuchets. First things first, we'll clean up the general area, as they are usually pretty well guarded. Despite these events ramping up in difficulty as more people are around, they tend to feel more group-centric, since when it comes to solo play, you can quest on your own. So, once we do start destroying these trebuchets, you will see how much health they have, and how much of a pain in the ass they are for one person to whittle down. Now, with my full armaments out, talking both damaging turrets and myself whittling away at it, it is taking quite a long time to kill one of these. So with the power of cinematography, we will speed things up a little bit. So here goes one trebuchet. Keep in mind, Guild Wars has a real action combat thing going on, so you could be at a range and shooting. That's 2 trebuchets, and 3. After you are done, the game will display your contribution level, which in our case is gold, baby. And since we slowed this, we got over 700 experience, a bunch of karma, a mediocre amount of money, and now we know how to do this. So, again, don't forget to clean up your turrets. Well, that's it for the video. There is a lot I didn't manage to cover. All things considered, I didn't even touch PvP, group questing, instancing, crafting, siege warfare, just a humongous amount of this game that I didn't even get a chance to try. So I personally think it's fantastic, and everybody should give it a try. I will leave a link in the description to the Tiny Vistas video, and that's it for me. You keep in mind I'll have these videos coming up more regularly. Next time I'll attempt to review Red 5 Studios' ambitious project, Firefall. So if you want to see that, that'll be coming up. Thanks for watching.